presented a petition signed by 15 members of the Republican State Senate and 64 members of the House Republicans asking for a petition. We would need 4 more Democrats in the Senate and 12 more in the House in order to get a special session. And so that's what we submitted. We're encouraging members of the other side of the aisle who have been so outspoken to the press, so outspoken in their op-eds, so outspoken in their articles, to put their words to actions and sign the petition and allow us to go into special session and correct the wrongs in this budget correctly, not haphazardly.
And you know, we have been publicly positive and thankful to Democrats in the House and the Senate who have expressed their concerns with these cuts and who have said that they are wrong and we should do something about them. And that's wonderful. That is a great start. But unfortunately, if you don't take that next step, and do what you were elected to do, we gave the perfect opportunity. Let's go into special session and then we can figure it out there. We'll all have our opportunity to be heard. We'll all have our opportunity to decide what is best for the state of Connecticut and how we fix this. But unfortunately, we haven't seen any other signatures on this petition except Republicans.
Have you gotten any inclination from any Democrat that they'd be willing to sign, or is it just politics as usual at this point?
Well, it's what we've heard, what you've heard. They're very angry. They are very passionate about what they feel and what they think, and they've apparently spoken to their leadership. So I don't know if the problem is that the rank and file hasn't been strong enough in speaking to the leadership, or the leadership is afraid of the governor. I don't know what the problem is.
Max, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is every legislator on the other side of the aisle has either called me or I've read on the Senate side. I have contacted them and said, if you feel that strongly, sign the petition. They've got to make a determination. Are they going to play politics, or are they going to go with what they believe is the best policy of the state? And right now, unfortunately, I see politics over policy, politics over people. Let's be honest, the cuts that the governor did, and even though he put some back, hurts cities, hurts the urban area, hurts the poor, hurts the elderly, because the Medicaid funding is significantly low. He went out and threw some money around to the hospitals in the suburbs, but that is not helping the cities.
Any word from the governor's office on special session and private discussions are still closed?
Door stays sealed in.
And nailed.
What makes you think that it wouldn't be political suicide in this building for a Democrat to sign on to this petition? What makes you think that Senator Mooney, Speaker Sharkey, wouldn't exact a price, or the governor for that matter, exact a price from any Democrat who crossed over to sign this petition?
Let me say, well, that is probably the scariest statement I have heard in this building. To think that, no, I understand the reality that you see, and I do too. And that is so sad to think that a legislator, duly elected from his district, his or her district, cannot independently think what's in the best interest of their district without leadership exacting a toll against them or the governor. I hope in this big issue with Medicaid funding the poor, I hope that's not the case.
And you know, Paul, I mean, to add to that, we all work and live in a political building and a political process. And there are certainly political decisions we make each and every day. That is the reality of what we do, no question about it. But when we get elected on that day in November and people fill in that circle, the reason is they think and hope and trust that we're going to do the right thing. And certainly there are hard decisions to be made when you're afraid that something is going to be taken away from you. But when the decision from me is my chairmanship going to be taken away, or is my parking space going to be taken away, versus the most vulnerable of the population in hospitals, in DDS population, in people that cannot take care of themselves, that's a difficult political decision. Shame on you.
Well, what if the comment is from the other side, you're the ones playing politics, that this could all be taken care of in regular session, you know, special session?
You can't, first of all, you can't wait to regular session. Every dollar you save today is $2 tomorrow, $3 the next day. And you know what? We've been through that. Last session, we talked about a budget deficit in November of 2014. We talked about November, December, January, February, March, and they all told us, we'll take care of it, we can fix it, we can fix it. At the end of the year, we end up with a deficit. So they've proven they can't fix it. They know they can't fix it. This budget is probably another $200 million in the hole, maybe better. So every day you wait, it's tougher and tougher decisions. We've seen this play before. They don't have answers. Let me tell you, if they come out and say, we've got a plan, and we're going to put it together in February, and we'll start, and we'll have it done in May, that's just trying to change the conversation. You're the majority party. If you've got a plan, go into session, put it together, and fix it. If you don't have a plan, stop promising people that you have a solution, but you refuse to go into session and do the solution. That's just making promises to change the topic.
When the average person out there reads or listens to somebody in this building say, there's no reason to panic, we'll take care of this when session starts in February, that is not being respectful to the people of this state. Because we all understand that by February, God knows what a bad situation we will be in. It's being impacted every single day. It's being compounded every single day. They are trying to divert attention from the real problem, because when you tell somebody, oh, we'll take care of it, don't worry, most people believe you. But they don't understand how bad things will be by February, and that is disrespectful to the people of this state.
Are you going to bolster your call for special session by putting an alternative list of cuts on the table instead of the hospital cuts and the...
Mark, we've been through that so many times with this governor. Even the people of their own party have put suggestions out there that the governor slapped away without conversation. I think we ignore the governor. I think we sit with the Democratic legislators and say, let's get in a room and do this. If you're serious, call special session and let's do it. But I'm not going to sit there and play that foolish, childish game where we put out alternatives with no context that they want around it. Just throw out a number and they say yay or nay and slap away without a conversation. That isn't how grown-ups act. That isn't how we should be leading this state.
Do you accept the notion that it is necessary to cut roughly $100 million from the current year fiscal budget?
Well, Mark, I mean, listen, we went through this all session where you heard, put it on the back of an envelope, put it in writing, do this, do that. What did we do? We put together a fully vetted budget by OFA. You may not like it, but it was fully vetted. Okay, so this game, as the senator mentions, it's a game every day. When they don't want to talk about what they're doing, they talk about what we're doing. And on the next breath, they'll say, well, they're the minority, so it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what they say. So, it's really nonsense at this point. But yes, of course, if we have a deficit, we have to cut something. But unfortunately, we have over $100 million in a municipal revenue sharing account that's not going anywhere right now. All I know is if I have extra money and I'm decided I have to cut hospitals, people with disabilities, towns. On the one hand, they're saying, hey, look at this great municipal revenue sharing, property tax relief. The other hand, I'm going to cut all your pilot money in 92 towns. Which one is it? You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You cannot do it. So make a decision what your priorities are, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it.
What do you think about the assumptions that are underlying this budget? I mean, we've already seen the administration say, well, we thought estimated and final payments of income taxes would be 7%. Now we think they're going to be 4.5%. We already had to go back and revisit, as you guys know, some of the business taxes. So what is the confidence level in the assumptions underlying this budget?
Well, I think that's the first thing when we get into a room. We have to all determine what our proper deficit really is for fiscal year 2016. The one thing that the governor's office keeps talking about is we're in this shape because of the stock market dip in September. The one thing we do know is the Office of Fiscal Analysis said that's not accurate, that the reason why we're in this fiscal shape is simply due to the depressed wages, i.e. bad economy, those are my words, in the state of Connecticut that has not allowed wages to increase. So you're seeing reduction in withholding taxes being paid, not the income coming in the way it's supposed to be on the income tax side. And the reason for that is a bad economy. It has nothing really to do with the market. So first we have to get real with facts. Two, we got to determine what the deficit is. Then you work together to solve that hole. That's the logical progression I think the people in the state of Connecticut want us to go.
And also I think, unfortunately, once we see the numbers, which we all see, but for some reason the governor's office and the legislative majority don't believe them. You cannot be delusional and sit there and hope and pray when you go to sleep at night. I know every financial person in the world has told us we're facing a deficit. But you know what? I don't think that's going to be the case because it doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me. And then all of a sudden, the next month comes, and it's like, see no evil, hear no evil. You sit there, and you have no idea about what's going on, but everybody says it's happening. It's not a political answer, what deficit we're in. It's not a biased answer, the deficit we're in. It is an objective financial number. And if they don't want to believe it, that's them being irresponsible. That's not their job.
Any other questions? We thank you guys for